Welcome one and all. Welcome to another episode of the all-new, all-different Bookshelf Podcast. With me today, as always, my best man, my best bro, Gabriel Lemaine. How you doing?
I'm alright.
How's everything in the world of having sword?
I'm currently mowing my way through PvP, and they've now implemented a ranking system like League of Legends. So I expect the community to turn as toxic as League of Legends is known for.
You'll be fine, Gabe. You'll be fine. You have your dignity, and you have your skills intact. Just expect to get wrecked in the league standings. You're never getting far as bronze. You know this.
That's a lie, and you know it.
As myself, I'm always Abdu, Aznable. Always salty for no apparent reason whatsoever, but we'll get to that later. But didn't we used to have someone? His name, that guy. Whatever happened to him?
He's still my best friend.
I don't know. I'm someone different. Not only did he abandon us for the frivolities of real life, but he abandoned us for a better podcast. He abandoned me. They took us. He took our money and he abandoned us.
I didn't know you were Scottish.
Nah, that's just my lame attempt at James McAvoy. Maybe I should have done one Patrick Stewart.
Yeah, so let's introduce our new friend.
Yeah.
Right.
So we kind of upgraded. Who is our new manga person?
My name is KARINA, and I will be talking about manga.
Hey,
Or whatever.
KARINA. Hi. Welcome.
Thank you.
So, what do you bring to the table? Consider this your impromptu interview. How do you got started loving manga?
Oh God, in middle school. Horrible. I started with Fruits Basket, and then it tugged me in, and then I haven't left.
So you're trapped in the literal manga yakuza. Once you got out, they pulled you back in.
Yeah, and I haven't sacrificed my little finger yet. So when that
Good.
day comes,
I'm glad you're one of those people who know the first book that got them into the genre. Because my first comic that I remember buying was the first appearance of the new Superboy. That's the first comic I ever remember buying. It was really bad, and 90s all hell, but it has a special place in my heart.
Same here. I remember buying I didn't remember even realize it was a comic book, but I remember my mom buying me one of the old Denny O'Neil and Neil Adams Batman. And I will remember, I thought it was a coloring book that wasn't controlled, so I would draw on top of that shit.
oh man, that's horrible.
It is. Only until 1 year later I realized you're not supposed to draw this with crayon, so Batman's not supposed to look like a vampire, and Catwoman's not supposed to have whiskers. You're supposed to use...
Version depending. It's Catwoman black. You never know. Sometimes it changes mid-season.
So, what manga do you like? I mean, when we had Matt, he would make us do all these weird, obscure mangas like Josei and Seinen and all the other non-popular shit that we were forced to drag through the library.
Oh,
Tell me,
can't
you have
say
better
that.
taste.
No, Josei and Seinen are they have some of the best series ever, so I love those. What I'll be talking about today is military sci-fi. I'm really into that. I also like moe stuff. I won't be ashamed of that.
I will try to change that.
we will make it our life's mission to change that.
Break me away from adorable girls. No way. But I also have good taste.
Why don't you have a seat over there?
Well, as much as I want to admit, I can't escape from adorable girls. But I at least tried to find some in real. Oh shit! No, never mind. That came out wrong. That came out wrong.
Yeah, you were disgusting.
So speaking of this, I guess disgusting habits on the internet. Just want to quick go and Zootopia became the #1 Disney marketed movie, passing even Frozen in the box office. I did not think this was even possible.
That is insane.
That is. I mean, it's a good movie, but Frozen had everything perfect for a marketable audience. It was a musical, it had princesses, it was CGI. What is it about funny animal characters being voiced by Jason Bateman surpasses that?
Well, they had more than Jason Bateman. They had a wonderful cast.
They did. They had Shakira. You saw it?
No, not yet, but the animation is gorgeous for it.
Personally, as a character designer, I love that. I'm actually getting that art book. That's like the second Disney art book I have other than Wreck-It Ralph.
Yeah, one of the things I really enjoy about that is that I like the world design, because even the backgrounds are as much of the character as the characters on the screen.
And you're a big thing about world building, so I've heard they actually have an explanation of how all the species stay together within one environment. And then there was, of course, there's like the big elephant in the room, minus the big elephant in the room. How does predator and prey stay with each other without killing each other?
Well, they have a very good police force.
Yeah, that's true. So the merchandise on that has got to be blowing up. But I've noticed, like, Disney is not exactly. They have the toys and they have their upcoming Disney Infinity stuff, but I don't exactly see that much merchandise push as I seen Frozen.
It's for Frozen has a huge merchandise push. Like, it's still the #1 property for all merchandising. Maybe Star Wars will see more, but Zootopia is mostly aimed towards kids. All the like toys, games, even apparel that they have out there. But Disney's also really good about playing it safe, so they might have 2 or 3 more merchandising pushes out.
The funny thing about that is that there was even some reports of parents leaving the movie midway because they thought there was some section that was a little too dark for their kids.
Really?
So
What happened in the movie?
I can't really say. I think it has something to do with the mob. Because remember, above all things, this is a cop procedural. This is a detective movie.
And
so
it has the voice of Idris Elba, and it deals with prejudice and stereotypes. But
So unless they have an autopsy on screen, I don't know what happened.
Well, we'll have to see the movie to find out, but so far it's defying expectations. And speaking of things that defy expectations, let's just get into it. Civil War trailer. Who saw that shit?
Me?
You
this
saw
came out yesterday,
Karina?
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The internet just wet their pants in anticipation. Like, so you want to actually talk about the trailer?
15 minutes talking about 5 seconds of screen time. Plenty know.
So who did they introduce in that trailer that we didn't expect?
Should I tease into it, or do we just blurt it open?
Tease into it.
All right. It starts with, they started teasing a lot more of the environment, like why the Civil War was going on. They had General Thunderbolt just pretty much laying on the guilt on the Avengers for New York, for Washington, for Sokovia. Like, everything is your fault. And Cap's like, yeah, shut the fuck up. And they have a reason why Black Panther is going after Bucky, and it has something to do with an explosion over at the UN, where T'Challa was there. So we are going to see more of T'Challa outside the armor. But a lot of the action scenes were Black Panther being badass, being bulletproof. So yeah, they're going full bad god with Panther, and I'm happy with that. And also they had cool scenes like Adam on Hawkeye's arrow. So we're gonna get that super. And yeah, there's actually maybe a scene where Bucky is not exactly 100% innocent. And not in the, oh my god, what have I done? I got brainwashed shit. He may actually have his own agenda regarding this. But then the finals.
It's Captain America. He's a perfect judge of character. Bucky would never, quote unquote, do what he has to do. Just an incident. Just like a puppy.
Yeah, it's like. Yeah, no. All we have to do is neuter him, right?
Yeah,
neuter him, and everything could be.
A puppy that can kill you with his little finger.
Yeah, it's just not his fault. See, Tony Stark was trying to grab him with his middle hand. It's not his fault that he actually tried to shoot him in the face. Bad, Bucky. Bad. Go in the corner. But ultimately, none of this is kind of moot because in the last 5 seconds, Tony Stark said appropriately, "My patience have wore thin, underoos, and Captain America's shield gets webbed up by none other than the all-new Spider-Man."
It's not quite all new. He looks like a Ditko version.
I was going to say John Romita Sr. Because he got that big-ass muscular shirt. If it was Ditko, we would have saw like the big-ass black eyes with the tiny lens and the web pits. And he still would have been skinny, but this dude is kind of built.
Well, one thing to consider is that the CG isn't done.
Which one?
The CG isn't done.
Oh, yeah, that's the one thing I didn't really like, that this is mad CG'd. Like, I know they have to be, because that's how Spider-Man is, but I don't know. It looks more CG than usual, and this is coming from the last Spider-Man, the amazing version that came out. I'm just gonna...
What, 2 years ago?
Yeah, look, you can't fault it. You can't fault it. It had a good costume. Doesn't matter if Garfield was a pretty good Peter Parker.
But
the script sucked. So, and this one it looks like, you've seen all those 4chan memes of Spider-Man, right?
You mean the one from the 60s cartoon?
Yeah, it almost looks just like that. So I am gonna...
Except modernized, with more piping. Piping makes everything modern.
And unnecessary black stripes. Yeah, what the hell is up with that?
It's dark. Come on. We have to get into the anti-hero.
If it was gonna be that, we could have had Superior. I would kill for a Superior costume on the big screen.
Yeah, you need at least 3 Spider-Man movies to make that work.
I know, but hey, now that they have the rights, you never know. You could, next movie immediately you can have evil Spider-Man versus good Spider-Man. Come on, don't make me wait for $20.99 for an actual anti-Spider-Man.
Well, a part of me is hoping for Marvel to run the course with its regular stuff and just make a whole slew of $20.99 movies. Just completely disconnect.
Dissing the 90s or going full 90s?
Part of me wants them to go full 90s.
I agree. I completely agree. Karina, are you excited for Spider-Man and Civil War, or is this totally going past you?
No, I'm totally excited. Fanfiction.net is like blowing up over it.
What? Oh, crap. You're right. Now that Spider-Man is in, all of their Spider-Man / Avengers cross-fiction is totally justified now.
All been in comics, all those little hints and all those like, oh, let's carry a fainting Spider-Man in my arms panels.
Oh, venerable Tony-sama. I don't know.
Now it's all
I'm torn
official.
between.
Also, he sounds like he's 15.
It's great.
Yeah, that's true. I guess expected like a 15-year-old to kind of have the body of a Chinese acrobat.
Why? Why would you want this?
What? That's the traditional Spider-Man thing. He's supposed to be skinny as fuck.
First
Usually.
you admit you're into little girls, now you want...
Can you
I don't know you.
Acrobats?
No, I both regret and do not confirm everything that you just heard.
I don't know if I know you anymore, man.
I don't even know if I know myself.
No, nothing we can say at this point will be better than just you with your awkward silences, digging your hole.
And with a fucking sand shovel, too. God damn it, this is going to take all day. Anything else you want?
But for Carlos, for plot points, what do you think they're gonna do with them?
That's the thing. Everyone is thinking about they're just gonna jack him in just to put him in and put him in a glorified cameo. But Marvel's going up and down that no guys, he takes a really important plot point. No, he's not just a cameo. He's really, really important.
Is it going to be like Han Solo in Star Wars important or not?
Yeah, a part of me is thinking that he's going to be really important in the third act. The first two, he's not going to affect anything.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of the introductions from Ant-Man to Spider-Man kind of feels like they just pushed into this movie. Hell, the whole Civil War thing was just pushed into this movie. Remember when there was just a Cap and Iron Man thing? No? Okay.
But they had their whole teams.
They had their whole... I know, but it was just... I thought they were just going forward with the Winter Soldier arc. And just have him, be a fugitive. Have, I don't know, kind of take from the old 80s Captain America where the government is forcing Captain America into being their puppet. And ultimately he just quits and goes AWOL.
Yeah, it doesn't look like Marvel is going to get into any depth with any of its big franchises in the movies. Like they're just hopping around looking to see what sticks. Then maybe we'll get sequels a couple of years down the line.
I doubt it. I doubt it because the problem is they put everything in their little basket way too soon and they didn't account for the actors wanting to move on with their lives. I mean, how many times Chris Evans says, after Prep 3, this is done. I'm done. I want to go direct. I want to star in something else. And they have to keep paying out of their asses in order to keep these people. I mean, even Robert Downey Jr. doesn't want to be Iron Man anymore. But if he is, he has to promise Marvel that, okay, I'll be there, just don't make me be in the armor too much.
Or reduce my screen time because every second I'm on screen is check you have to pay me.
Yeah. I rather, let's try to finish the Avengers saga and then, start picking new heroes. Or legacy characters. Come on. Howard Mackie as Captain America. How hard can that be? What, you don't want to see Howard Mackie as Captain America? You don't want to see Captain Falcon on the big screen?
No, I just want Falcon to get his own move.
Okay.
Because it's not real talk. It never works for me. It's never gonna stick. It doesn't matter. It never matters. That's why I like stuff like that.
But if it can't
start feeling sorry for the actors. You love them, but you're dragging them into this mess.
Exactly. I'd rather have Falcon have his own movie because if you make Falcon Captain America, it only ever comes off like Captain Replacement.
Yeah, that's true. Same with Bucky as Captain America.
Hey, I mean, I love Captain Puerto Rico as much as you did, but we can only have so much.
That's true. What's gonna happen to the whole franchise when Downey Jr. decides to inevitably quit?
They have multiple streams of movies, so they can go more the space craziness route, like with Guardians. That's completely disconnected from everything else.
That is something.
They even have them lined up on the production schedule right now.
They do. But it's still kind of untested. I mean, other than Black Panther and Doctor Strange, those audiences are still it's still unsafe ground, so we don't know exactly what's going to happen.
We want them to stake out to do something new.
Oh,
not just rehash the old stuff.
That's true. All I'm saying is, I do hope that people latch on to Black Panther a lot, because I see him like the successor to the Captain America franchise as that one Marvel movie that actually tries to take itself seriously.
What, you don't like Thor and his sitcom type of adventures? Also going into space? That's serious for only 20 minutes of screen time tops?
And everything is just sexy just arguments between shirtless Chris Hemsworth and sort of shirtless Tom Hiddleston. No.
Oh, come on.
No, Thor, it knows exactly who its audience is. But it's definitely not anyone looking for serious drama. Look, I'm not dissing on Loki. I think he's good.
It's working.
It's working, yeah.
Tom Hiddleston is doing it single-handedly.
Yeah, that's kind of also another weakness in Marvel, is that they're killing off all the good villains except Loki.
I thought the weakness was different, is more that they have few good villains, period.
Well, speaking of good villains, there has been rumors that Marvel has started casting the villain Davos, as well as Oscar Rand and Crane Mother for the upcoming Iron Fist thing for Netflix.
Hey, do you have a look at who the actors are?
It's still in casting right now, but at least we know that they're kind of confirmed for it, because right now they're doing the whole we can't cast the real name, so we're going to use nicknames. You know how it is, like they're casting for Peter Parker and then they call him John, and they have a description of Peter Parker, but they can't call him Peter Parker because then you get thousands and thousands of people who wants to be Spider-Man.
Oh, I see. It's a way of them calling for their actors, but not tipping off the fans who know how to look for this stuff.
Yeah, sort of. So, what do you guys have think about the whole casting controversy with Iron Fist? Should he stay white or should he be Asian?
Yeah, Mass, how familiar are you with Iron Fist?
Not much at all. I know that the original comic character was Asian, and now there's a big fuss about them trying to whitewash things. Am I wrong?
Wrong. The thing is that how to put this? For Iron Fist, his thing was that he was created in the 70s during the Kung Fu boom. And it was pretty much Marvel's way of making a cash-in on that phenomena by having pretty much a white guy Kung Fu person.
Now, they tried previously with Shang-Chi, but not only was he a blatant Bruce Lee ripoff at the time, but he was intimately tied to a whole bunch of licensed characters from a novel, specifically Dr. Fu Manchu. He was the son of the Yellow Peril. So that wasn't flying, so Marvel decided, hey, we gotta get into this Kung Fu thing, but why don't we make him white instead? And it's not like it's that original or anything. There's like since the 40s, there's been characters that uses Eastern Orientalism as their origin in order to get superpowers. The most famous is the Shadow. His whole thing is that he went to Tibet and he met some monks and he meditated for a whole fucking while, and then he got superpowers and he came back as a Shadow. So it's kind of in that golden age thing, where a white man get lost in the Himalayas, finds a hidden civilization, gets trained, somehow becomes the best fighter in the crowd, not really, and then he comes back to his to the city to do his own agenda using his newfound Eastern superpowers.
Yeah, one of the things about Iron Fist that makes him kind of transcend that origin is that he pretty much grows up in a kind of Shangri-La place, more or less. And pretty much he gets treated like shit for his entire life.
He's Gualo, right? Gualo.
Guilo. So part of the thing about Iron Fist that made people who like the character not want him to be changed to Asian is that it messes with one fundamental part of the mythos, and that is that when his parents go to that place, that special place, that
Kunlun.
Yeah, Kunlun. It gives him his powers. When he gets adopted by those people, he gets treated like crap for a lot of his life, and pretty much being a part of that separation from everyone else drives a lot of his drama. if you make him Asian like everyone else in that city, like it breaks a lot of the how to put this, a lot of the aspects of the friendship that he has with one of his best friends named Luke Cage. And I guess it just changes a lot of parts in the dynamic that kind of just make him someone else entirely.
All right, so the opposite of whitewashing is going to strip out everything emo about this.
Yeah, and there was the argument that, well, if you make him Asian American and make him like he was totally raised in America as opposed to having any connection to his Asian roots, that would kind of be similar enough to get away with it. But
make him come to the place when he's like 15.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm not even sure if that will work. Because I don't think the discrimination against him would be even that severe. Because then it just becomes a war between two cultures, not two races. And two, I'm not exactly sure if the impact of him coming back and trying to get back his company would be as strong. And also, there's the unfortunate implication that you are replacing one stereotype, which is the mighty whitey one, with another stereotype in which, the only hero that is Asian people has to look forward to is anyone who knows martial arts.
Mm.
Yeah, like, there are plenty of Asian heroes, but they're all martial artists.
What about Frank Cho? Does he have a bigger small screen treatment? Other than that one cartoon, I think.
I was talking more. Well, when I think there was other diverse Asian characters, more like there was the wizard Karu, who is kind of like a dark counterpart to Doctor Strange. He was on Mighty Avengers, but he's like almost like in the same vein as Fu Manchu, where he was like, "Oh, I'm Asian, but I know Eastern mysticism and shit like that." And then there's like the other one, like Agent Jimmy Woo, who led the 50s Shield Atlas. But again, that's a Shield agent. He doesn't have superpowers. So like the only one of Asian descent that I know is kind of big in Marvel is Amadeus Cho. And as so far in the cinematic universe, we haven't got to him yet. He's a bit away from that.
Oh wait, but what if our favorite, probably not super smart, but superpowered Asian, Jubilee?
And Psylocke. And Armor.
Psylocke, no. She doesn't quite count. She's in a weird, vague space.
Yeah, but tell that to Olivia Munn.
You know the deal with Psylocke, right?
She's Asian British.
No, she's British. She stole the body of an Asian woman. No one
because
ever talks about that.
Because Jim Lee has the ninja fetish. God damn, Jim Lee. But hey, do you think anyone will actually give a shit about English Psylocke in this day and age?
No. I mean, I know I didn't.
Exactly. It all worked out for the best. It's better. You know what? It would just be easier if you just get rid of that origin and just make her, I'm an Asian of British descent.
Nah, I thought they did just make her American because they don't play up the English part, like, ever.
Yeah, well, ultimately, do you know any American Asian that goes full weeaboo ninja like Psylocke would?
I thought that kind of fell out of favor. Real talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think you guys are really underestimating the clash between Asian American and actual, like, foreign-born Chinese people. They could really play a lot of tension that would, like, really resonate.
So you think that Iron Fist would have been better as Asian?
I don't know. They could do a lot with an Asian American. There's still a lot of tension there between ABCs and actual Chinese people.
Maybe. Personally, I still think an Iron Fist show is just not going to work because with the Netflix stuff is very grounded and gritty and realistic. So they kind of immersing you in a world that could be like ours if they had a little more superpowers. And with Iron Fist, though, Iron Fist is not as much as he gets portrayed as a street level hero. He's not really a street level hero. He's like low level mystical hero. He comes from a world that is more in line with Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter than, Daredevil or Sin City.
But Mortal Kombat and not really Street Fighter have had good live action shows.
Yeah, most likely from the internet. But they never, only Mortal Kombat attempted to try to add gritty street drama into their thing. And it's always been very late. After that is full on mystical, let's go to the tournament, let's fight ninjas. And I don't think Marvel is going to do that, at least for the first season. And that was what I was expecting. I was expecting the Kunlun and the Himalayas, the training between Wendell and Davos, and Lei Kong the Thunderer and Kunlun. The fight against the dragon! If they don't have to fight against the dragon, then it's done.
No, the dragon's going to show up. It's probably within the contract.
Yeah, I'm hoping they put a lot of the best CGI. I don't want it to be like one of those, those closed off fights where you have the moving camera. It's like, how Nolan does fights?
They haven't been doing that for most of the Marvel series.
It's true, but they also have like very practical effects.
That's not their action choreography at all.
Yeah, but their action choreography.
Seriously.
What?
It hasn't shown up at all. Seriously. They don't use shaky cam like that.
No, they don't use shaky cam like that. But it could be used to cut budget against CGI. Because those choreography has also been very good practical effects choreography and very hard-hitting stuntmen. I guess I would have expected someone who, instead of some random dude from Game of Thrones, to be a guy who can actually fight.
I'm sorry, man. They're not going to cast Donnie Yen. I know you want it, but...
Especially after seeing Ip Man 3 and the fight with Mike Tyson. Oh my god. All of this would have been irrelevant if they just stick with Shang-Chi instead of Iron Fist. Shang-Chi is actually a street-level drama that could work in the Netflix series. And the choreography would be beautiful. They got the guy from the Raid to do this.
I thought he was one of the consultants.
Yeah, but maybe he can be full choreography director. Oh well.
He can be director too, man. I think so.
Yeah.
Most
I guess
the best action for me is action that, works with the plot rather than just shows up, or else it doesn't have any
context. Yeah. I guess if I want to see something close to the Iron Fist series I'll watch Marco Polo. So
that's more similar to how I view Iron Fist, actually. That's part of why I wanted that character in particular to remain white, is because that dynamic that happens in Marco Polo is part of what makes his entire personality. He comes back to a world that treats him special because of his wealth and the way he looks, but he doesn't feel that way on the inside. And that's part of what drives his friendship towards Luke Cage. And their friendship in the way that they have diametrically opposed outlooks of one guy who is lived closer to the streets and another guy who has a more philosophical outlook that's more grounded.
It's kind of naive. He has been called a surfer dude at times. Yeah, I'm hoping that Jessica Jones didn't grime up Luke Cage too much that he won't be able to have any chemistry with Danny. Because
that's up to the script, not up to the previous show.
Yeah, but Jessica Jones showed that Luke Cage can now carry his own show without any problems. He's always been a great team character, but not so much. Well, now that we're done japping about this, why don't we get down to the newest book on our shelf? Karina, you have something new that you want to show us. What is it?
Yes, it's an actual book. It's a trilogy novel series. It's a sci-fi military action. And you might remember it from the OVA. It's called Yukikaze. There's 2 books published out in English, And the last book we're still waiting on. But
let me ask, what is Yukikaze about?
All right. It's set in the future a little bit. There's this hyperdimensional passageway that suddenly appears on Earth. People go across it and they find aliens. And once you find aliens that you can interact with, what do? You bomb the shit out of them. So the main character here is a lieutenant who flies a fighter plane. And they take missions, and whenever they see aliens, they kill them, or try to, or run away.
Is his name Will Smith? Is this Independence Day, the novel, in Japanese?
Oh, there was going to be a Halloween version, and oh my God, what's his face? Tom Cruise was cast to play it before he did All You Need Is Kill. And it's not Will Smith. Actually, Tom Cruise was perfect for it. It's this autistic, really silent, shy guy, and he has no life, no emotions, and he's in love with his plane.
Are you sure Tom Cruise would have been perfect? Because that sounds a lot more like Keanu Reeves.
I think he was the second guy who they were throwing the role at. He would have been perfect, though. But Tom Cruise has this like cool, dark-haired look going on.
Like
he's a lot more military. Disaffected? Yeah, it's very military, very disaffected. That short hair, Keanu Reeves, we can't cut his hair, but very emo.
Yeah, I seen the designs from the OVA, and yeah, it looks very how can I say it has a design that I have seen in some of the josei titles that has to do with either boys love or what's it called, house drama.
You talking about elongated faces style?
The elongated face, the very detached eyes that like they look almost like mannequins. I've seen that kind of style in Sailor Moon, and that always kind of creeped me out. But for this, it makes sense because it's military drama.
I thought you were talking about the sexiness of the planes. Because these planes are pretty sexy.
Oh yeah, no, the planes is credible. I love these things.
God, the planes are gorgeous. The best part of the OVA was that the Japanese Air Self-Defense Force, they actually flew around a couple of planes for Gonzo actually did animation. So all the animators, they had to work with them. So all the planes, they do flips, they do all these aerial maneuvers that are just gorgeous. And once you're reading in the novel, it's all very detailed out, very written, like super well. Like you can close your eyes and just see them.
It was just kind of disappointing when I saw the cover. I thought it was like a really visual novel, and it turns out to be like one of those light visual novels with more prose and pictures. Because I would have loved to see a complete manga based on this. It would have taken a long ass time just to render all those planes, but it would have been worth it. It would have been so worth it.
It's like an actual novel, and the author, Chohei Kambayashi, he actually won a couple of awards for this. It's very reminiscent, his style of Philip K. Dick. So a lot of themes that they bring up are very similar to what comes up with Do Androids Dream of Electric Sheep.
Better known as Blade Runner for anyone who doesn't read novels.
The prequel of Blade Runner, let's say. But the big thing about it is that the aliens, they're not actually meat bags. They're mechanical beings. And the way that they interact with these fighter jets, they awake sentience in them. So it's not so creepy that the main character falls in love with his plane, because his plane kind of falls in love back. She talks to him. She makes military decisions on her own. And it's this whole journey through navigating this unknown landscape all alone between one guy and his plane.
Oh God!
Trying to figure out what humanity is.
I'm getting some Gundam 00 vibes over here.
I think the OVA was very BL, kind of in this way that Gundam 00 was.
What do you mean? What do you mean by very BL?
Boys love.
This guy had, boys love. the main character has this best friend that features a lot in the anime, not so much in the novel. There's actually like female love interest in the novel.
There's two characters, Rei Fukai, the main character who kind of looks a little emo, and Major James Jack Bukar, the de facto second in command of his unit, who's also American, who's also awesome, and likes boomerangs.
Awesome. He's like outspoken and happy, and you're like, what are you doing here? Stop trying to bring Rei out of his shell.
In other words, American.
That.
So, you were saying, Gabe?
Yeah, I'm getting a lot of Top Gun vibes from this.
Not so much Top Gun.
Similar chemistry, more or less.
If I had to describe this just through the visuals of the anime, it's Ace Combat with aliens.
Oh, yes. Totally. Yeah, there's a lot of parallels brought between Ace Combat and this. It's like Ace Combat with a plot and like psychology.
Ace Combat has a plot. It's
whatever.
Nondescript, vaguely United States forces against a presumably European country.
Well, this one has more plot.
Yeah, kind of. It's better than the mecha game, Art Trooper. But okay, one thing that is kind of bugging me. You said that the plane has sentient AI and apparently falls in love with Rei. But the plane has no human characteristic, no hologram girl, no anything?
Which is the best part of everything that happens. Her sole means of communication with her pilot is like writing on her screen. So it's not, there's no...
There's no cute little...
It's not like Cortana.
Or it's not like Steins Gate, or
definitely not.
Or not like that robot show, the prequel, where they have the cute little girl AI that wants to be real. Because every time there's artificial intelligence, they always have a mind to give it a voice. So you can inform that it's a coherent thought. They did that with the Tachikomas. When they have holographic AI girls.
I've seen holographic AI girls show up at least 3 times. In Dot Hack. In damn it, I forgot what the other one was. Dot Hack had it. I think I might have been thinking of Dot Hack 3 times because it had 3 shows. So
I think even in Gundam they started sticking in AIs. But this is kind of creepy because it's very clear this is a fighter jet and she's very mechanical, very cold. You can't even sense her emotions.
It's called Robotics Note. Yeah, and this AI girl was basically it's not even AI, it's complete AR. You can only see her by looking at your PSP system. So it was weird because you were essentially falling in love with your Vita. But now you're telling me that this... and you said it's a her.
I don't know why she has a gender, but you know, like ships are always named her. It's a plane. She has a gender. But only in that way, not like she gets all flirty or anything. She's more like his boss, his immediate superior in the military ranking.
Wait, so the military recognized the plane?
As far as it's a plane.
Yeah, that's...
Like the human tendency is to treat all mechanics as like tools to be used. So there's this real schism between how Rei treats his plane, the main character, and how his immediate superiors, the human like military base, perceives these planes just as tools to be used. So when they start acting out and like making their own decisions, the high brass is all like, "Whoa, what the hell?"
That is some serious military otaku, fan fiction right there. The love between a pilot and his plane. The physical love between a pilot and his plane.
No, oh my god, don't do that. And you're not even sure that she even likes him. Like, she saves him from death once, and maybe. I don't
Oh
know.
my
Or
god!
maybe like you can't be sure if she doesn't want his blood all over her cockpit or if she really cares about like saving his life.
So you're telling us that Rei Fukai is kind of a stalker? It's like, oh, I care about you, Plane. I love you, Yukikaze. You're my wife. Okay, sure, yeah, sure. Let's just get on with the mission. Can I hold your cockpit? Can I just hold your joystick right there? Please don't. Please.
They
Check
don't
your
even
privileges.
have conversations like that.
The way you describe it, like she doesn't even have feelings for him, or she just maybe she's just being polite.
Maybe. Can she be polite? You're not
This-
sure.
This is the first time I've heard about a female AI that doesn't instantly fall in love with the protagonist. She's just,
I don't know why this is so weird.
Yeah. I mean, it's just a different type of way of perceiving an AI and working it into a story because she's very important to the plot. But it's very scary and like doing double takes at the book every once in a while, being like, really? Did that just happen? I keep on expecting something more like anime to come up, but no.
I've heard that this is like almost serious military drama. We're not even getting into Gundam or Legion of Galactic Heroes. It's like straight PTSD.
Yeah, it deals with PTSD, it deals with psychology. As far as hard mecha goes, you're not going to get any like 5-page run-ons on all the specs of the plane. So you can't satisfy your urges that way. There is an art book for the OVA, which is gorgeous and details everything about Yukikaze that you could possibly want. But it doesn't really delve into the hard military or even like he can't make his own decisions. He just gets orders. A big thing about it is like he has to fly around with Yukikaze and he's just an observer. He's not allowed to get into a fight. Like he will watch his entire squadron be shot down at certain points and he's not allowed to step in or do anything.
Is Yukikaze the only plane that is sentient?
It's implied that the other planes are waking up, but the alien force likes to talk to her. They like to talk to all the machinery. And she's the one that makes it. I think she's the most outspoken one. Like she can make decisions for herself. If the alien force has like overrun or like hacked into the other planes at some points, then she can stand up and say, no, you're not getting in. You're not hacking me.
But you did mention that there were situations where the government was seeing these planes kind of sort of rebel. So, like, there's an awareness that there are other planes like her around, but she's that's one of them, right?
Of course, because she's the main character. But we don't really get to see a lot of the other parts of the unit. And partly it's because the main character is so antisocial, so into himself, and partly because he has such a solitary job.
Huh. Oh, no, that's kind of sad, because such a universe should demand like a multi-unit observation. See how different pilots interact with their different AIs.
Yeah, you find yourself like sitting back and imagining what it could possibly be, but you have a lot of space for that because there is substantial world building going on.
You know what it reminds me of? You know how the pilots of the Evangelion interact with each of their Evas, and all because they have a personal connection with them.
Yeah, like a blood connection. But I don't think Shinji ever goes to his unit and goes, "Mom, look what I did at school today.
Look what I did at school today." Your mother doesn't want to talk to you. Get back to your room. Daddy, why are you so cruel, bitch slap? That's because you were born.
Yeah, it kind of sucks that the Evas didn't get to communicate with their pilots.
But the pilots kind of recognize that, like near the end, that Asuka realizes her Eva is her mom. I never know what Ray's is, but yeah, she kind of treats her Eva differently.
Yeah, but she treats it like a part of her soul.
Yeah, so I was like, and when you were talking about how Rei Fukai, the protagonist of this one, is treating Yukikaze, and they have a relationship. You know what? The first thing
They
that
have a relationship.
they have a weird, creepy relationship. Yukikaze is just trying to do the job, and Ray is like,
It's a pilot in his plane. It's super professional. Get your mind out of the gutter here. This isn't your like high school romance slice of life where they're running around making a band.
and see, now I want to see. You know, if this got super popular, there would have been a 4-koma manga about Yukikaze in high school.
It exists.
Wait, what?
There was a video game made for this, which was halfway decent. Like visually, it was okay. The controls were okay. It was just really short. And then there were a couple of like manga 4-koma specials where Yukikaze was actually like not anamorphic because that has to deal with animals. But it would show her as like a little plane, and she was running around acting like a girl.
Okay, forget I even asked.
It exists.
Rule 34 in effect. Gotcha.
Porn.
No. Yeah, what I was thinking about is like Setsuna from Double O and like Ore wa Gundam, and how his slightly insane quest to become a Gundam, even though he's a human being.
Pretty much, that's a good connection.
Huh. Well,
They didn't kill all the snipers off in that year. That would have been a good show.
yeah. Well, I'm gonna try watching the entire OVA because from the few combat sequences that I saw, it looks phenomenal. No, Bandai Visual did a great job on this. And yeah, the music is pretty good. It's not as jazzy as I thought it was gonna be because there was some like Macross. That is like one of the most famous fighter plane mangas that I can think about. But that has like an entirely different premise. This one is like very professional, very dark, very.
Yeah, it's a bit like Votoms. Like it has the same type of atmosphere. And Gonzo, Gonzo worked on that too, didn't they? But they have very good.
Yeah, Gonzo did.
Yeah. Oh, and Gonzo did Full Metal Panic.
Well, yeah, but Full Metal Panic, that's like a entirely different animal.
Oh, it was great though.
I like Full Metal Panic from Ofu. It was what? It was hilarious.
Fumufu.
Yes. So where can you get Sentai Yose Yukikaze for all our viewers at home?
Sendo Yose Yukikaze is the name of the OVA. But if you're interested in something that's a little bit more serious and reading into it, Viz's imprint, which is Haikusoro, they actually published the first 2 novels of the trilogy. And you'll find a link, but we'll provide that for you.
Got that. You can get the link over at our page over at theouterhaven.net. Well, this is actually pretty sick.
Yeah,
Wow.
It's actually not bad. It's available in ebook format from Amazon. It's gotten awesome reviews, like understandably.
Now you see, the other guy would not have gave us a cool manga or novel like this. I'm glad you're on board, KARINA. I'm looking forward to hearing what new books you could come up with, like once every 3 or 4 weeks.
Well, I'm sorry to disappoint, but this is military SF. That's what we're going to start with.
Nice. So eventually we're gonna get to Gundam: The Origin, right?
Maybe. Gundam's not that great as far as mecha goes.
But Gundam!
Yeah, whatever, Char.
But come on! Gundam is like granddaddy of all mecha. Oh, not really granddaddy. That is Tetsujin 28.
Mm-hmm.
But come on, when you think of M, you think of Gundams. You think of Gunpla. You think of just spending hours and hours detailing tiny little pieces in order to make a gigantic robot that you only pose once.
And then once you get your head out of the children's toys, you can start to enjoy something more military. Yeah?
Well, I'm sorry, but Kojima's took everything and just scrapped the joy out of it. I want to get into more military, but I don't want to have to listen to 40 minutes of him talking about nuclear détente, proliferation. I just want to see giant bipedal robot.
All right.
But that's how you build a payout. You have to have a 3-hour talk about foreign policy before you see the giant robot show. Without it, there's no pacing, Carlos. No pacing.
Boring.
Yeah, you are totally missing out. Like, I don't think you could sit through Legends of the Galactic Heroes.
No, because if it's anything like Cao Cao, the talk about the Chinese strategy, then it's gonna be awesome. It's like I've heard that Legend of the Galactic Heroes is more cerebral anime, and
what do you mean?
Like it's about the strategies and warfare strategies as opposed to like mano a mano action, and that's pretty okay. If it means that we're dealing with a space opera grand chess piece between two great military minds, rather than just try to have everyone has a day in the spotlight.
Nah, it's the part. Plus, there's like a wedding thrown in.
Oh, all right. As long as like last time I seen this type of space opera deal, I seen one of the newer Macrosses, and like, oh God, please just let it be about mecha.
Macross has singing.
Yeah, but that got annoying after Macross Zero. It was nice in the past, but come on, that got annoying fast. Can we just talk about two races at war with justifiable reasons and trying to unite through political action and probably a little singing and robots? What's wrong with that?
Gundam's all about the opening ending songs.
That's true. And Macross will always be about pop stars in space. Ugh. We'll glad to have you on.
It's better than Terra.
You don't think titles can end a generations-long galactic war?
Not that they have to do that every generation. Has the idol wars been so exaggerated that wars end and begin with who has the cutest waifu?
Yes. That's the only legitimate reason to make war.
I thought it was
Cleopatra had it right.
That is the Trojan War. Yeah. All those men died. Waifu war.
And she was 40,
Oh God.
Oh God. Why?
Oh, hush.
I don't know why, but it makes those death seems even more worthless now.
But she was awesome. Come on. If a woman can bring down 2-3 empires at age 40, you have to imagine how gorgeous she is.
I would have bet, Helen I would understand, but Cleopatra at age 40? Come on. I thought it was just a pretty much a dick-waving contest between Julius Caesar and Alexander.
No, Marcus Aurelius.
Oh, right.
No, Mark Antony. Sorry, Mark Antony. Sorry.
Your excuse.
Well, personally, I want my world wars to finish off with the one true great equalizer between nations. Gundam fights.
True.
And goddammit, we have to get started on the design for our US Gundam before they fuck it up. Because no offense to Gundam Maxter, but we can do better. We can do better. Gabriel?
I don't know, man. I don't want them developed by Apple. I don't want it to happen again. Not again.
No, goddammit. We can do I'm sure I'm sure Tesla is working on a much better design. We don't have to work on Apple anymore. Look, Microsoft could...
In Pacific Rim, they had a bunch of private companies developing all those Macs. It wasn't only government, and it wasn't Apple.
Exactly.
Be those contractors.
Windows can provide the OS. Tesla can provide the internal mechanics. And then we just, we go to China and Mexico for everything else.
And we at least have Linux OS. Please.
You're going to be a good fit in here, Karina.
Thank you.
All right. If it's necessary. But make it the most intuitive Linux, because for the few texts, we're just going to put grunt on it. We don't expect them to live, but we expect them to give us data.
Yours will have Puppy Linux. It'll be fine.
Puppy Linux is a thing?
I thought it was Penguin Linux.
You can fit it on a CD. It's awesome.
Well, now we're going to have to explore the mysteries of Puppy Linux. As we figure out how to run unintuitive OS, it is my duty to say that you can look us up over on Twitter on BookshelfEnt, Facebook.com/BookshelfEnt, and subscribe to us on our YouTube /user plus Bookshelf TV. We will start putting up a little more videos once the all new, all different Bookshelf come along strongly. Any final thoughts, Gabe?
Oh man, I'm just really enthusiastic, looking forward to what's coming up. Like, don't we have Batman v Superman in another 2 weeks?
Yes.
Yeah, DC gotta come in with that really good tit. I mean, they really had to come out strong because they are still an unknown. I don't care if you're freaking Jesus versus Buddha in a college dorm room. Winks to anybody who gets that manga reference. But I don't care if it's like the big. Yes, I don't care if it's like the best thing. If they don't have a good plot, if it's just nothing but a big ass fight, then they're gonna come out weak, and Marvel's gonna punish them bad. I mean, that's the whole reason they even unveiled Spider-Man in the first place, is because Batman v Superman is coming at the end of March. Civil War is not until May. So, yeah. They gotta answer, and they gotta answer hard.
But, Carlos, I know that even with Marvel having its other movies, Batman v Superman is looking to me like it's going to be Batman v Superman v screen time.
Yeah, that's true. You have Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill fighting for screen time among the other members of the Justice League. Good job, DC. But let's see how much they can manage, because I heard this was 3 hours. Have you ever seen a superhero movie this long?
I don't know, but I
don't know. I'm really excited though. It means it just won't be wham bam, thank you, ma'am. They actually have space to do stuff.
Huh.
It's just like if it's 2 hours, that's when you end up with weird truncated plot lines that really don't go anywhere, like with Thor and Avengers 2.
Or Watchmen. That's kind of one of the big reasons why Watchmen didn't do so good. Because comic book fans totally got it. Everyone else was like, what? So, yeah, and it's from Zack Snyder, so...
Does the extended edition make that any better?
Yeah, I don't know, but I know extended edition is going to be rated R. That's not a knee-jerk reaction. I don't know what is. It could actually be bigger, and they're going to cut it for the feature, because now all of a sudden they have to film all these rated R stuff in order to compete with Deadpool. Big ups to Fox. They're never going to get rid of that X-Men license now.
They already had more successes to justify it for another 5 years.
Yeah. Guys, you better love the Inhumans, or else.
We don't know anything about them. They haven't released anything.
That's the point. Marvel has been trying to pimp the Inhumans since, 4 years ago?
When's the movie coming out? 2018?
2018, but Marvel has been trying to push the Inhumans in their comic books and their merchandise since before 2018, before the movie even got a release date. So once the movie does,
they showed up in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as a plot point.
They
really important, but
they've been pushing the Inhumans in their comic and practically trying to subtly replace them as the new X-Men.
Well, by that point, we'll have Valiant movies too. So they'll get more competition there.
Yeah, and Valiant actually has a good quality stuff. No lie, when they come in with... The only problem is they're opening with Bloodshot, which is an easy movie to do, but it's going to get a lot of comparisons to The Punisher. Mm-hmm. So...
Well, who's this movie studio that they're doing with?
They're partnering with a Chinese movie studio that actually owns half of it. So they're getting a lot of funding that way, but they're really hands-on with it. They're flying over to China every other week.
Who's Has the director been chosen and all that?
I know. I heard that there was a director being chosen.
I know they have a script.
Yeah, they got a writer. They got a writer, but they don't have a director for Bloodshot yet. And I know they're actually looking forward for a director for Archer and Armstrong. Oh, no, they do have a director. And it's Eric Heiserer. Oh, no, he is working on the script. And it will be David Leitch and Chad Stahelski. They made John Wick. Never mind. This movie's going to be good. If anyone's seen John Wick, they know how to take dark, very moody action flicks with beautiful choreography.
Also,
man,
there's an edge of humor in John Flick with the action, with the choreographers. So I'm optimistic.
And it's actually going to be a 5-picture deal with Sony Pictures along with their Chinese partners.
Yeah,
is that for distribution?
Yeah.
Yeah. So they're pushing out all of their series. Bloodshot's just going to be the first one.
According to THR, reports that Sony's plan is going to make 2 Bloodshot films and 2 Harbingers, followed by a 5th movie called Harbinger Wars, which is just a crossover between Bloodshot and Harbinger. And then they're going to do Archer and Armstrong. And then they're going to do Quantum and Woody. Oh, okay, I see it. They're instead of, trying to unite all of their separate franchises into one thing, they're going to follow arcs instead.
Yep.
Oh my God. The Valiant, they're doing it really smart. Okay,
Yeah,
kudos to them.
Yeah, they're really smart. So I have no doubt about the movies being good. It's just if people go to them.
And the best part, Sony doesn't need Marvel anymore. They got a new franchise now.
But is it guaranteed money?
That's true. That's
These
true,
have
Bletch.
a lot of potential.
Yeah, there's no guarantee of money.
But still.
Oh well, good luck with these guys. So, once again, final thoughts.
I want to see how the Chinese do this movie.
And Karina, now that you're welcome onto the Outer Haven and the Bookshelf podcast, what do you look forward to?
Having a good time here. I don't know, reviewing more series. I'll bring something more, less, up, down. something surprising this time.
Ah, awesome. And as for me, I'm sorry, now I'm too hyped up, Bloodshot, to even think about anything. Oh wait, no, I'm just constantly reminded how much of my main in Street Fighter V is gonna get nerfed, but that means ultimately nothing. So
come on, Carlos. There's always subsequent patches to make him marginally better.
Yeah, instead of a $60 game, now it's worth a $40 game.
Hey, they're making progress.
It's making. Yeah, I'm gonna skip this month too, and have to wait till April, don't I?
Yeah.
All right. This is Carlos Aznable, Z/, and KARINA MASS signing off. Peace out.
Bye.
Bye.